Part 2. Astrid. Chapter 17. Is this right? I asked Nauki, Dad, as I swirled the dark gray clouds in front of me. Yes, that's a great start. Swirling the clouds was like swirling paint on a canvas. It was cool, but also a little messy. Since Dad's palace was on top of a giant cloud, the other clouds moved at the same time. I didn't have to go chasing them. My little cloud was my practice canvas. I'm so happy you decided to hone your nature skills, Dad said. I've enjoyed training you these couple of weeks. I nodded, distracted by my art. It's like magic. It's exactly like magic, yes. He stepped up next to me. You know, Rockney and I were actual wizards once. I tore my eyes away from the cloud. How did you become a nature demon? The nature demons died out a long time ago. Before doing so, they appointed my father, your grandfather, nature demon. He took over when they vanished from this world. Can only wizards become nature demons? Yes, it would have to be a being of supreme power. A giant, for instance, cannot become one. Neither can werewolves or vampires. I was able to bring creatures up here as protection, but they held no magic. So, could I become one? I asked. You already are. Your birth was the first of its kind, the union between a nature demon and a sorceress. You can exist in both worlds in a way I cannot. What about Josh? He is a human with traces of my power. He can't use it to his advantage. I don't think he can become one of us. Oh. I abandoned my cloudy portrait, which was starting to look like Josh, and looked over the edge of our cloud, which was like a giant gray front yard. I saw a city beneath us, with little lights throughout. Where are we? Dallas, I think. What's that? I asked, pointing. I saw 5 little red things flying not too far beneath us. Are those birds? Dad pulled out a little gold spyglass from his robes. I believe they are. The birds from the island? I took the spyglass. Yes, I'd recognize them from anywhere. We have to stop them before they infect more people. We'll use the elements. Dad twirled his hands in a weird way, and a giant funnel cloud dropped from a large cloud across from us. I watched as the tornado broke up the flock. It captured a couple of them, tearing them to bits. The 3 remaining tried to fly away from the twister, but Dad caught one of them. The tornado hadn't touched down, and the birds flew closer to the ground. I'll have to use something else, Dad said. Can I try? I asked. He looked at me with pride. Of course. Try lightning. We were too far away, so we teleported to a cloud just in front of the 3 remaining birds. I conjured lightning bolts very slowly. Dad had taught me to use anger to get started, though it wasn't necessary. I hadn't been able to do it earlier, but I could now. Lightning shot from the cloud, nearly striking the 3 birds. The near hit made me even angrier. I tossed 6 bolts at them, striking one out of the sky. These suckers are fast, I muttered, squeezing my lips together. I sent another bolt out and struck another bird. That left one, and it was flying in a random pattern that was hard to predict. I tossed more bolts, but none of them hit. Astrid, stop! Dad yelled, appearing behind me. I stopped and realized I was exhausted. I was breathing so fast that I thought I would pass out. You can't exert yourself so much on your first try. Sorry, I said, watching the last bird fly away. Dad tossed a bolt toward the last bird, and it exploded, leaving no trace it ever existed. He pulled out his spyglass. I don't see it. I think I got it. He looked at me. That was very impressive, Astrid. Thanks. I was breathing normally again. Perhaps it's time you return to the island to give the good news. Good idea. Thanks for teaching me. It was more fun than I thought it would be. You could make this your home. We reappeared on his home cloud. I looked at him. I like living on Dargo Island. Even with all that death? A crack of thunder startled him. Yes, I said heatedly. Even with all that death. I'm sorry if I offended you. You know that you're always welcome here in your second home. Always. I thought I detected a hint of a plea. What would happen to nature if you died? Without a successor, I imagine absolute chaos. So I pretty much have to take over for you, I asked, my heart racing. You don't have to. I'm sure I could find another magical being to take over. Your mother could become one if she were so inclined. She hasn't used her powers in a while, but she's an excellent illusionist. I won't have to worry for a long, long time. That made me feel a little better, but not much. I walked to the center of the cloud yard and turned back to my dad. He waved. I waved back and said, I'll see you soon. I look forward to it. In a flash of light and a roaring wind, I returned to my house on the island. When I stepped out of the closet, I nearly ran into a boy I hadn't seen in a while. Esteban, I yelled, backing away. Honey, Mom called, running from the living room. Josh brought him here while you were gone. He has the plague. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what else to say. Where is Josh? I asked Mom. Dad and I killed the rest of the birds on the mainland. He went to the palace to check on the status of the cure nearly an hour ago. I haven't heard from him since. I'm going up there, I said. Is there another Bethel I can take? Yes, Anila left us 2 of them. Josh took one, but the other is in the backyard.